Hey everyone, it's me Tim, and today I'm doing a Q&A video. I put out a post recently asking you guys if you had any questions for me. I got a lot of really great questions, so many in fact that I have to do this in two parts. So this is part one of my Q&A video. And the first question comes from Dusty Old Hat, and he said, if money was no object, what would be your ideal ADV tour and why? This is a pretty easy one for me to answer. It would be Patagonia. I really want to ride to the southern tip of South America. It's been on my bucket list for years and years. It's actually a big part of the reason that I started this channel, and things just haven't lined up yet for me to do that, but I'm sure that I will someday in the near future. Next question from JYoung488. Mods to the bike, changes in riding gear, changes in camping gear, planning any cross-country trips, where and when. So as far as mods to the bike, I did do a bunch of crash protection, skid plate, crash bars, things like that. Nothing else really in terms of like comfort mods. I do eventually want to maybe upgrade the seat. As far as changes in camping gear, no. I've been really happy with my setup for the last year or so. I haven't really changed anything. Really happy with my sleeping bag, my tent, all of it. I'm just really happy with it, so I haven't felt the need to make any changes. And as far as planning any cross-country trips, I am not currently planning any trips cross-country. I am planning trips, but just not across the United States at this time. Next question from Ed Curry. What is the best part of camping alone and the worst? Well, the best part of camping alone is being your own boss. You don't have to compromise with anybody. You can make all your own decisions. Really, just there's no compromise. You're able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. If you want to hang around camp all morning and drink coffee, that's fine. If you want to get up bright and early before the sun and hit the road, that's fine too. You can do whatever you want. The worst part for me is that if I do get spooked, there's no one there to like calm me down. There's just a certain peace of mind knowing that there's someone else in a tent near you. Not that you're necessarily actually any safer, but it's just like a peace of mind thing. You just kind of feel safer. Next question from Parit913. This is about my new motorcycle. How expensive is it to manage? How is after sales service? Fresh ownership experience, if possible, with things to keep in mind for someone who's entering the premium segment from a Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. So as far as how expensive it is to maintain, I do actually have a long-term review coming out very soon that I kind of talk about this a little bit. It is pretty expensive to maintain though. I just got an oil change done for $200, which I think was just outrageous. The BMW wasn't even that much. So that is definitely one downside to the new bike, is that it's expensive to maintain. The service manual says every 10,000 miles you should do an oil change, but even though it's an expensive oil change, I think I'll be doing them more frequently than that. I just don't really trust letting oil go for 10,000 miles. It just seems kind of a little bit high. Next question from JamPhoto7283. Differences between long trips on the East Coast and West Coast. How has your travel experience changed since you started traveling more? Bigger bike versus smaller bike, i.e. R1200 to your Triumph. As far as the first part of that question, the difference between East Coast and West Coast riding, West Coast has a lot more wide open spaces, far more camping opportunities, and I think pretty stunning scenery in the western states. As far as the East Coast, there's a lot of cool little seaside towns that are really neat. It's a lot more populated, not as much open space, but there is camping, especially in the Appalachians. And there's some really excellent riding on the East Coast in like Tennessee and Kentucky and the Carolinas. Even Florida down to Key West is pretty awesome. So I think they both have their advantages and disadvantages. How has your travel experience? And the next part of the question is, how has your travel experience changed since you started traveling more? The biggest change for me has been that I've slowed way down. As far as like my riding speed, I've slowed down, and as far as my pace of travel, I've slowed down. I'm just not in a rush to get anywhere. I'm just enjoying the ride, and I'm not in any particular rush to get anywhere, and so that's been the biggest change for me. And the last part of that question is bigger bike versus smaller bike. I could definitely make a whole video on this. I would say that the Triumph is not what I would consider to be a small bike. As far as weight goes, they're probably not that far off. Physically, it's maybe a little bit smaller, but I don't necessarily think that it's a small adventure bike. So it's kind of hard to say the difference between the 1200 and the Triumph. They're pretty similar. I do have a lot more off-road experience on the 1200 than I do on the Tiger. With the 1200, the lower center of gravity definitely helps in like the slow technical stuff. I haven't really gotten to do too much of that on the Triumph Tiger 850. Next question from Reno 2028. Are you planning to visit Baja again? Yes, I'm leaving in the next couple of weeks for a trip to Baja. I am absolutely stoked. I cannot wait. I'm bringing my camping equipment this time. The last couple times I've been down there, I haven't done much camping, so I'm really looking forward to camping out on some of the beaches and just enjoying my time down there. I really love Baja. I just fell in love with it a few years ago, and I just can't get enough of it. I mean, if I could go back there every year, I would. I didn't get to go last year, so I'm really stoked that I'm going to get to go this year. And there are definitely videos coming from that trip. I will be filming my adventures, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. Next question from Raptor Pack Adventures. If you were to buy a street cruiser bike today, what would you buy? Well, I used to have a Victory cross country. I really absolutely love that motorcycle, but they don't make it anymore. It was just such a smooth ride and comfortable, and I loved the way that it looked. If I was to buy a cruiser style motorcycle, I think I would go with something like the Triumph Scrambler or the Triumph Thruxton. Probably the Thruxton more so. That would be my choice for a cruiser motorcycle. Anyways, those are all the questions. I do have an announcement though. I'm actually finishing up my online course for motorcycle mechanics. It's called the Fundamentals of Motorcycle Mechanics. It's a basic course on how your motorcycle works, diagnosing some common issues, and just all of the kind of just demystifying motorcycles as far as electrical and engine systems. A little bit of everything in there, so I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be announcing the official launch date on Tuesday, so keep an eye out for the second part of this Q&A. I will be announcing the date for when that course will be released, and definitely keep an eye out on that because I'm going to be lowering the price for the first 2 weeks of launch. You'll save at least $20. Definitely keep an eye out for that if you want to save 20 bucks on the course. The price will be going up after the first 2 weeks. So anyways, I'm super stoked about that. I can't wait to see what you guys think of it. I've been putting a lot of effort into it in the last few months, and it's why I haven't been doing much traveling. So anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next Q&A video on Tuesday. Ride safe.